on this computer again. Okay. So kung may questions kay Igami, please tell me and then we can bring out Igami again. I'll also look at Igami again and see if there's something interesting econometrically naman. That's not something we should talk about today because today we should focus on yung concepts ng Cournot. Okay. All right, so let's continue with Cournot. Okay. Does everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
Sige. So dito tayo nagsisimula sa reaction function. So dito yung reaction function ni firm 2. So I suggest you guys write it down. And this is the reaction function of firm 1. And this slide is all about trying to come up with the equilibrium, which is the intersection ng dalawang reaction functions. Okay. And we remind ourselves na yun yung equilibrium because that's when each player's expectation about the other person's quantity is validated. And we spent some time before to talk about at any other point in that Q1, Q2 space, which is this space here, the expectations are not validated. Iba, right? So in a sense, this is firm 1's reaction function. If firm 1 believes that Q2 produces 0, firm 1 will produce the monopoly output. But my question is firm 1's expectation validated? The answer is no, because you need to look at firm 2's reaction. If firm 1 produces the monopoly output, firm 2 will definitely not produce 0. It will produce somewhere here. So it's not validated, and it will, the only place where it is validated is here in this point. If Q1 is this one, that means firm 1 expects Q2 to be this one. And that is correct, because when Q2 is this one, firm 1, when Q1 is this one, firm 2 expects firm 1 output to be here, and therefore he or she, firm 2, will produce at this level, Q2. So it's only at the intersection of the two firms' reaction functions where each person's or each player's expectation of the other firm's output is validated to be correct. Everywhere else, their expectations with each other don't match. And that's why that's not the Nash equilibrium. So numerically, how would you do that? Here. So can someone tell me what happened in this first step? Q2 is A minus C over 2B minus 1/2. What was this? What's in here? Oh, may sa chat. Huwag kayo mag-direct message. Yan. Mag-everyone kayo. Okay. Firm 1 reaction function. Okay. In other words, Q1 lang ito, di ba? So, sinaksak mo dito sa Q1. So, kung sinaksak mo dyan sa Q1, mapapansin mo is it's all just a function of Q2. Okay. Specifically, it's the Q2 that is consistent with firm 1's reaction function. So that's why it's the intersection. So pag itong next step, this is just 1/2 times this one. So naging 1/4 siya. And this one is 1/2 minus 1/2 of A minus C over B. And this is 1/2 of 1/2 So 1/4 of A minus C over B. So 1/2 minus 1/4, that's just 1/4. Kaya siya naging 1/4 times A minus C over B. It's just algebra. It's not even algebra. It's just like fractions. Okay, so this one, you have Q2 and Q2 on both sides. So ito ililipat mo sa right side. So Q2 plus Q2 over 4, ano yun? Oh, nagkamali pala to. So this is something that I should annotate. So tignan mo minus 2. So times minus minus. So we have to do this properly. I think that's a good idea for us to actually do this together. Oh, wait. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to annotate with this one. Minus times minus, that's a plus. So this is actually a plus. Diba? Minus times minus, that's a plus. So pag linipat mo dito sa kaliwa, ano mangyayari? 1 minus 1/4 is 3/4. And then yung matitira dito, itong A minus C over 4B. If you multiply both sides by 4 over 3, the other side will become this one. And the one on the right side will become this. So ito na, what do you call this one? What is this one? This is now the optimal response of firm 2. Nakalagay dito, this implies Q1 star is also the same. Can you tell me why it's also the same? It's easier if you just use your mic. Yeah. So it's the same cost, same demand. So ito yung tinatawag natin na symmetric na Cournot. That's why once you get the solution for one, if everything is the same, then everyone also will produce the same output. It's the same reason why 1 over n rin yung sa paper ni Igami. Total output is just the sum of these two things. So parang it's the same A minus C over B, that's may same 1/3, so it becomes 2/3. So Q is 2/3 A minus C over B. That's the total output. How will you get the price? Isasaksak mo siya dito sa demand function. Itong 2 minus blah, 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 blah. Okay. So if you do that, it becomes this. Do you guys want a derivation of that? You can try it. Just for fun. T equals A minus B times 2 over 3 A minus C divided by B. A minus, yung B pupunta doon. So magiging, ano siya? 2/3. Ano? Will the b's cancel out? Tama? Or mali? So wala nang b. Then this just becomes a minus 2/3 a plus what? 2/3 c. So what is a minus 2/3 a? So kung may 1 peso ka, then you minus 2/3 of 1 peso. That's just 1/3 of 1 peso. A over 3 plus 2 over 3 times c, which is the same as a plus 2c all divided by 3, which is what we have here. Okay. And then see profit. A lot of people have problems with profit. So this one I'm seriously going to ask. How would you write down the profits first? Profit equals price. Ano yung price natin? (2c) divided by 3. Yun yung price. Times what? Oh, sabi ni Leland, it's price minus MC times Q. Because here MC is constant, therefore it's AC. Yun yung key concept. Kaya nagagamit mo si MC. So times quantity, that's 2/3 times A minus C over B. Minus MC. Ano yung MC natin dito? F. Just letter C. And then you multiply C with what? With quantity. So it's 2 A minus C over B. Okay. How might you proceed? Well, you can do what Leland did, which is, I'll point everyone to the chat. You take out the common Q. So first we write down the common Q here, which is 2 over 3 A minus C divided by B. And that's just equal to the price, which is A over 3 plus 2C over 3 minus what? Minus C. Now, as you can see, 2/3 of C minus C is what? So may minus 1 ka, and then you're adding 2/3 to it. What do you get? It's like you have minus 1, you have minus 3 coins, and then you're adding 2 coins. So you kulang mo na lang is how many coins? 1, right? 1 of 3 coins. Yes? Thumbs up if that's good. I'm just trying to get, if this is easy, you guys should answer really quickly because I'm wondering if this is something that's a problem for everyone. Because sometimes nakakalito tong mga derivations na to, even though the algebra might be super simple. I'm just trying to make this as super simple as possible. How's everyone doing? Okay. Oops. Divided by b. And then the thing inside becomes what? A minus C.
Is it minus C, sir?
Divided by, correct, thank you. Divided by, kasi 1/3 yung sa A, 1/3 yung sa C, pero minus. So lahat divided by 3. Diba? Parang A minus 3 divided by C over 3. May nag-chat. Okay, correct. Bilisan na natin to kasi madali lang to, right? Okay. So, ano pa? So it's 2. So meron tayong A minus C, tsaka meron tayong A minus C, kaya siya naging squared. Meron tayong 3 sa ilalim at meron tayong 3 sa ilalim, kaya siya naging 9. Pero mukhang kulang to kasi dapat may 2 sa taas. If we did the algebra correctly, which I think we did. Yeah, I think we did that. Okay, so this becomes 2 over 2 times A minus C squared. Okay, all divided by B times 9. So this should really have a 2 in here. Yeah. Something like that. 2. Okay. So, any questions? Tama ba yung derivation natin? I will re-upload this one.
Sir?
Yeah.
I think yung sa left po ata is for each firm, kaya wala yung 2 kanina.
Ah, correct. Kasi 1/3 lang siya, di ba? So kaya siya nawala. There. Kasi each firm is A minus C over 3B. Thank you. See, you guys are much clearer minded than me about all of this. So ito yung derivation natin for the two Cournot model. You have the profits here, you have the price, you have the quantities, and the total quantity. Well, this one should be 1/3. This should be 1/3. Okay, we already talked about the trial and error situation. And this is A minus C over 3B. Okay, which is 2/3 of the monopoly output we discussed before. Okay, so now let's do the numerical. Okay, we'll do the numerical thing together. So eto si market demand. Paano mo makukuha si marginal revenue, well, makukuha mo muna yung demand curve, right? And from Untel's perspective, QC is just a number. So hindi niya makokontrol yun. So this is something which he doesn't know yet, or you as the modeler, we don't know yet. So just keep it there. The only thing that Untel can control is this one. Okay. So what's the marginal revenue curve? It's this one. So let's try to derive that. It follows still the same twice a slope rule, except it's not because it's twice the residual demand curve and not twice the market demand curve. And that's the important part. So ano yung total revenue natin dito, guys? Price times quantity, but isang quantity lang, si QU lang. Okay, which I will denote as small q. So 120 minus 20 q, I'm going to do it q under bar to denote the other person, minus 20q. And all of this is multiplied by what? It's a q. Yeah. So take the marginal revenue, which is just the first derivative of that one with respect to q. So d er dq. And what do we get? Well, 120q. Ano yung first derivative ng 120q? It's just 120. The second one, ano yung derivative ng, maybe I should write this out para it's even clearer. 120q minus 20q underscore times q minus 20q, pero squared na siya. Okay, so given this, it's easy. So yung first term, ano yung derivative ng first term? 120. Ano yung derivative ng second term with respect to q? Kokopyahin mo lang. It's just minus 20 q under bar. From the perspective of q or Untel, it's the same as a number. It's just a number. And then, ano yung derivative ng last one? That's twice the slope. So that becomes minus 40 q. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed is people like to use the direct demand. Okay. So that means people like to get the market, would like to get the quantity as a function of price and then get the marginal revenue from that. Generally, that won't work. You would need the indirect demand because what you're trying to think about is changing quantity and how much does revenue change from that. Kaya siya marginal revenue. Okay. Anyway. So ito si marginal revenue curve. Then you equate that to 20. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost. And that's just 120 minus 20q under bar minus 40q equals what? 20. So everything is, what are you solving for here? Just to remind everyone, as a conceptual issue, you're trying to solve for whose demand here, or who's not whose demand, whose reaction function. So dito maraming nagkakamali dito. Whose reaction function are you solving for? Si Untel, right? Reaction function. So that's QU, or in our case, it's Q. So that means you want to isolate Q and make Q as a function of Q under bar. Okay, so you just isolate Q. You just 120 minus 20 Q under bar. Tas yung 20 na marginal cost, dinala mo sa kabila. And then the 40 Q. And then you divide everything by 40. Okay. And that becomes, I think nakalagay na siya rito. That's 100 divided by 40. Minus what? 1 half Q under bar equals Q. So that is the reaction function of Untel. And it's probably a good idea to simplify this further. See, 100 minus 40, that's just 10 divided by 4. 10 divided by 4, that's 5 over 2. So that's 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2, Q over under bar equals Q. Similarly, what is Q under bar? Can someone dictate? I mean, nakalagay na siya dito, but tell me what it is, so I'll write it down.
Five halves minus 1/2 Q po.
Minus 1/2 Q. So these are the two reaction functions. And now, in this slide, why don't we solve together what the equilibrium is? Ano ang favorite nyo? Si yung nauna o yung pangalawa? Doesn't really matter. Q, because it's so symmetric. 5 over 2, shouldn't be too precious about these things. Times 1/2, ano yung isasaksak mo dito? Yung Q under bar. And this is Q under bar, which is 5 over 2 minus 1/2 Q. So everything now is in Q, because that's the equilibrium quantity ni Untel. So let's start just simplifying. Equals 5 over 2. Ano yung 1/2 ng 5 over 4? Well, actually, it's just easier to just keep the 1/2 because, well, what is 5 over 2 minus 1/2 of 5 over 2? It's 1/4 of 5 over 2. Oh, actually, it's 1/2 of 1 over 2. Kasi 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2. So 1/2 of 5 over 2 is what? I just write it down, doesn't matter. 1/2 of 5 over 2. And then this one becomes a positive because it's minus 1/2 times positive times minus 1/2, which is what? Plus what? And if we just write out the key here, just to be sure. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Two negatives become a positive, so that's 1/4 Q. Okay. So you have Q's on the left and the right. So you just say Q minus 1/4 Q equals what is 1/2 of 5 over 4? 5 over 2. It's 5 over 4. So what is 1 minus 1/4? It's 3/4. Q equals 5 over 4. So what do you do to solve for this? You just multiply both sides by 4/3, basically, right? So Q equals 5/4 times 4/3 equals 5 divided by 3. So it's a little bit less than 2 because 2 would be 6/3. And it's more than 2.5 because 2.5 is 5 divided by 2.5. And it's here. Okay. And it's symmetric, so everyone has the same output. So if everyone has the same output, you just add everyone. So it's 5/3 plus 5/3, that's 10/3, which is here. And then 120 minus 20, 10/3. Saan galing to? That comes from the demand function, which is ito. Okay. So this one, there are a couple of ways to do it. You can do it like, I don't know how, you can do it however you want. But here's one way to do it. You can do P minus 120 minus 20 times 5/3. Diba? Kasi yun yung output ng isa. Minus 20 times 5/3 ulit. You can do it this way. Kasi if one way for me to remember that this is Cournot is literally to separate the two firms like this, as opposed to work with the market demand. But that's just me. But it'll turn out to be the same because 5/3 and 5/3 is 10/3. So the price is this one. And then the profit, the price of margin over unit cost is 33.3. Saan galing yung 33.3? The price is 53.33 minus what? Minus 20. Okay. So price minus marginal cost is 33. So each firm makes a profit of 55. Saan galing ang 55.55? Oh, sulit ulit natin. Sorry. Ito. Profit is simply price, which is 53.33. Okay. So that's 53 and 1/3, yeah? Minus 20, which is the marginal cost, times what? What are we multiplying here? And make sure you don't make the same mistake that I did. It's the firm's output, which is 5/3. Now 5/3, that is 1 and what is that? So actually this is smaller than 1.5, right? Because this is like, ano ba to? Hindi. Never mind. I was thinking of doing this as 1 and I was thinking of doing it as imperfect or a proper fraction. Pwede rin. 1 and 2/3, right, guys? 1 and 2/3. Tama ba? Tama. So this is 1 and 2/3. Pwedeng ganun. Pero mas madali kung improper. 5/3. Oh, may sumagot sa chat. Yun nga pinupuntahan ko. Which is just 53, 33, and 1/3 times 5/3. Now let's see if you remember how to work with improper fractions and proper fraction. So you do it at the same time. So it's 33 divided by, so it actually becomes 33 times 5 over 3 plus 5 over 3, 1/3 times 1 over 3. Is that easier? No, that's probably best to do this one. What is, improper mo na lang yung isa. What is 3 times 33? That's 99, yeah? 99 plus 1 is 100. So it's actually 100 over 3 times 5 over 3. Yeah, improper fractions are our friend. 500 divided by 9. And what's 500 divided by 9? Let's grab a calculator. Should be the same. I'm trying to find a calculator to get the exact answer. But you don't have to. What's the thing again? 500 divided by 9. Yeah. So that is 55 times 555. I'm fine with 500 over 9. Okay, so yun yung numerical. So napansin ko lang is just during the exam, a lot of people decided to maximize with respect to the actual demand, not the inverse demand, okay? Which is the typical way, which should be the way to do it. Otherwise, magkakamali ka. And then one mistake that a lot of people will face here is that you're forgetting that you're maximizing relative to the residual demand. So itong si 20 QC, this is actually fixed. So you're only doubling the slope of this one, which is what we've seen through here. Is there another numerical thing? Oh, why don't we do this one? Many firms and so many firms muna. So many firms, you've got QI, and since it's symmetric, everyone looks this way. And in a symmetric situation, you don't even have to do the replacement or the substitution. You will just say that this one is just n minus 1 of q, which will give you this. And if you solve for it, now it's q and q. If you solve for it, it becomes this one. It's very interesting yung symmetry dito. For two firms, ano yung solution natin for two firms? A minus C over
3B po.
3B, which makes sense because when n is 2, then this is 3. So it just follows the formula, yeah? So this is sort of a more general formula for a symmetric game. And then this also follows the formula for that. For two firms, you're extending it to n firm. So just you Instead of adding it, you times 2 it, right? Or you times n it, and then it becomes this one. And then the price, if you put the price in through here, dito hindi mo maiiwasan yun. Before I said that one way to do a simple Cournot, two-player Cournot, is to separate them. But here, hindi mo maiiwasan that you have to calculate the big Q first, and then you simplify the following way. Gusto niyo po bang i-derive to? It's not easy, but it's not straightforward either. I mean, we have some time. So why not, right? Let's do that. Okay, but dictate. P is just A minus B. Ano yung Q? That's this N divided by N plus 1 term first. And then you're multiplying it by some A minus C over B. In the chat. Ano yung 3B? Sorry. Parang nawala ako. May sinabi si Lila na 3B. Ano yung 3B? So, pansin mo dito yung B, tsaka yung B dyan mawawala. So, you can separate that. A minus N over N plus 1. And then, A minus C na lang siya. Right? So now you've got things in A and C. C is easy because C is just literally N plus N plus 1. So I'm just going to start with that first. Minus, so pansin nyo may minus, N divided by N plus 1, C. Ilagay C sa front. CA, yung problema kay A is that meron siyang A N plus 1 divided by N plus 1. Right? Because N plus 1 divided by N plus 1, it's 1. That's the first A here. But then you've got this other thing which subtracts, kasi may minus yung B, minus N divided by N plus 1 na A. Okay? So pareho na silang divided by N plus 1. The only difference is that sa numerator, you've got AN plus A, and then dito may minus AN. So yung matitira dyan sa A is A na lang. Kasi yung AN, tsaka nagkaroon siya ng minus AN. So A divided by N plus 1, and then kukopyahin mo yung C. Minus C. And then kukopyahin natin yung C. Right? So you use the strict wherein you do N plus 1 divided by N plus 1. Para it's common, greatest common denominator. Yeah. I think that's called greatest common denominator. So wala namang tanong about anything? Nothing yet? Okay. So there's an N plus 1 rule. Oh, wait. I think we did this before already. Yeah. Why don't we? So this is now non-identical costs. Ano yung ito ulit? Kukulitin ko lang kayo. This is something we've answered before, but what's this again? Ano yung sinaksak niya dito? This is a two-player Cournot para non-identical marginal cost. Ano yung nakalagay dito? Firm 2's reaction function. So pansin mo, the C2 will not disappear or will not be the same, I should say. Okay. Okay, but the A's are still the same. So solving for Q1, you get the following. Okay. Makikita mo naman yan because C1 over 2B. Okay. So si C1, bakit siya naging ganito? It's because bumalik siya dito si Q1. Magiging yung C1, I guess this is the last thing we can do. Let's do this one last thing. So Q1 equals A minus C1 divided by 2B minus 1/2 of A minus C2 divided by 2B. This time it's a plus 1/4, like we've just said, Q1. Or actually, tanggalin mo na yung 1 kasi nakakalito siya. Since they're all in terms of Q and V. Okay, so first thing, itong Q, pwede mong ilipat sa other side. So this actually becomes 3/4 Q, 1 minus 1/4. But then first, let's try to solve the A. So A over 2B minus 1/2 of A 2B, that's just 1/2 of A over 2B. Right? But the problem here is itong sa ilalim. Right? Itong sa ilalim, which is the C1 and the C2. So first you get minus C1 over 2B. And then you get a positive C2 over 4 because it's 1/2 times 2. Okay. So what do we note here? Actually, you can see it also here, right? Si Q1, negative ang relationship niya sa own costs. Pag tumaas yung costs ni C1, ni 1, ano mangyayari sa output ni 1? Bababa. Pero pag tumaas yung costs ni 2, ano mangyayari sa output ni 1? Tataas. Okay, so you should be aware of this negative sign. That's also a way for you to make sure that your algebra is correct. So you just solve for it by solving for Q again. And that is just mawawala yung 4. So this becomes A divided by 3B. And then this will become, what's this? Yes, C1. C1 over, may 1/2 B kasi siya. So divided by 2B. But you're multiplying it by 4 over 3. So the bottom becomes 3 and the top becomes 2. Kaya siya naging 2/3. And then the other one, C2, you're multiplying that by 4 over 3. The 4 disappears. So it becomes C2 divided by 3 over B, which is essentially this one, after you get the common 3B. Okay, so any questions so far? Just wanted to make sure everyone can do the algebra. The homework for this, there will be a homework for the simple 2x2 case by Monday, So you can practice on that, but since it's a practice question, the answers should be at the back of the textbook. So the purpose here is not to get the correct one, it's just to make sure you understand it. Okay. Ano pa ba? Oh, because hindi na siya symmetric, you cannot do the same argument. You have to flip the C2s again here. So it's not, you cannot just copy. You cannot just copy it. You have to be able to flip it. Kung nalilito kayo sa flipping, you will have to solve for it individually. Okay, so if there are no questions, I guess dyan tayo magtatapos. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. I can stay for a couple more minutes.